Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. We're talking arts this morning, this glorious morning, art for youth and human development. Our guest is Agonsi Uche Kuntash. He's an artist and a youth development and leadership advocate. Good morning, Mr. Uche. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for lighting up our studio with, we were having this conversation before we went on air, and you were telling me how art can be found in the fabric, in the very fiber of human existence. Yeah. But we'll get to that in a while. I want you to tell us how it started for you. Was art something you stumbled into, or something you always knew you were going to do? What's the story for you, Uche?
Okay, good morning, and thank you, viewers. I always say this, during my child upbringing, I've been a science student.
Really?
I'm telling you, I wanted to study medicine, and I want to study.
I wouldn't have known, no.
Yeah, I want to study the difficult aspect of medicine, because things about me, I don't want to do what normal people are doing.
You love the challenge.
I want to move out from the status quo, so I wanted to do neurosurgeon. So, but my problem is I can't see blood and become normal. So I wanted medicine that blood is not involved. I won't cut everything open there.
If it's neurosurgery, you must cut it off.
Yeah, and they say it's not possible and all the rest of them.
possible.
So that's how. But then I was drawing. I can see my integrated science, my biology, the drawings. Sometimes I had a bad handwriting because I don't do my writing. I give people to do my writing while I draw for them.
When you do the drawing.
So I could remember meeting our catechist then, Anglican Church, asking the man for space to draw, because I have drawn every available space in my father's house. There's no space on the wall. There's no space to draw again.
Like murals?
Yes, mural drawings. I was drawing book of my Bible story. It was one of the things that inspired me. I drew Moses, Red Sea, all those things. I had the Last Supper. So there was no space in our wall again. Everywhere was occupied. So I met the Anglican. She said, "Go ahead." So I was using church wall to draw. I drew for free, only for me to come down to Enugu, and I found that you can make money from this. That's how I switched to art. I got IMT. It was something else. I can remember the first time we had an art competition, because then they really need to know. They do aptitude tests. So I came first, and they told me you came first. I was shocked. And they thought I studied art in secondary school. I did not. So from there, I took it to the next level, and from one thing to another, This is here where we are.
And you have been moving so powerfully and so strong.
Yeah.
I remember meeting you for the first time in 2006.
Wow.
Either 2006 or early 2007, I met you.
Yeah.
And you gifted me this very beautiful flower vase, right?
Wow.
So for you, there are several expressions of art. There's the sculpting, there's the painting, there's the drawing, there's so many. Which of them is closest to your heart?
And one thing, like when I got into school, this analogy that artist is a madman. Sometimes it affects the way our older artists were dressing. Sometimes some of them, they won't take their baths. Some of them have their mustache scattered. Some of them will wear tattered clothes. Some will even wear normal clothes and cut it. And it wasn't appealing to me. And they told us that this is part of creativity. But I stood against it, because then I studied Bible and understood that God was the one that gave Oheleb and Bezalel the spirit of fire and applied art to interpret.
True.
I said, if God is the one that gives this, and God is God of excellence, so why can't I dress well? So I started a revolution which helped younger artists who are under me now to start dressing well. So we now saw that creativity is not in that dirty
right.
So, but another thing they did was that there's always this in the same measure in art. I didn't want to measure. I want to know art complete. That was separates me from artisans, because if you're an art is holistic. You should study the art of communication, the art of expression, the art of expressing yourself. Sometimes you see an artist, they will paint a beautiful artwork, but when you ask them now to express themselves, they say, I put red because red talks about red. So sometimes you now look for a curator who will now come and create their work. I say, why can't I be all in one? And that's pushed me, and I keep on moving. So I studied ceramics, painting. So when it came to major, I was very good in sculpture, second best in painting. So the lecturers were fighting over the area I should be. I now choose ceramics. So to the greatest surprise, they felt I made a wrong choice, because then ceramics was more like a woman.
Yeah, just sit down and just create.
Ceramics and textile. Yes. They thought it was a woman. But when I studied ceramics more, I now discovered that ceramics is more like a science course, because it's only ceramics you talk about what's inversion,
methodology.
Yes, you talk about chemicals. Silica is sand you used to make a windscreen glass, like the glasses you are wearing is ceramics. Silica. Like this cup that you see here is ceramics. The ties are ceramics, and most artists couldn't survive it because it was science-based art. So they ran away from it. So it gave me leverage to experiment on ceramics. I could remember one of my lecturers then told me that I would be a failure by choosing ceramic course, and now told him I didn't know it was a prophetic word. I said one day there will be a national art competition with the prestigious painter and sculptor, and a ceramics will win. In 2008, there was a national art competition in Nigeria for the first time. I came first
with your ceramics,
professional level with my ceramics. So it was a mind-blowing thing to them. I could remember they invited me then to IM to come and talk to students, and I was telling them that back then in my school, power of focus and vision. So you don't say I'm an artist, I'm only a painter. No, you should be all around.
Actually, I can't wait to delve into your work as a youth development expert. But I want to understand what makes Uche Agumse tick. What inspires your creative process? You know, you did mention my book of Bible stories. Yeah. You know, growing up. What are those things that actually put you in the zone where you just go haywire and ideas begin to flood into your mind?
Yeah, I can remember when I got into the field of art. You know, a lot of my lecturers then and our seniors approached us and said, "You need to join so society. You need to do this." You know, for there they wanted to introduce us to Igbo smoking. I hated smoke. I've never tried.
Could you come again so that I can understand? You meant your lecturers?
Yes, some of our lecturers were in one court or the other. So when they see younger talents, they always want to harness them early enough
and put them in these courts.
In their court, especially they will not come and say, "Since we saw this talent in you, can't you come and join us?" It's a free thing. They were doing some of their free.
They just gloss over it.
Yeah, but thank God for the foundation I had then.
Yes.
It was irritating to me, and I have stumbled to understand that it's God that gives this talent. So I now told them that it is God who is the creator, that created us, the creator, that performed the power of creation, arts. So why will you?
What are you giving
God?
Me extra?
You are lesser God, and then I could remember that there was a time we were having fellowship. One of the lecturers organized exam during our fellowship, and the exam supposed to be for 8 hours, and fellowship lasts for 2 hours. So he said it's either fellowship or your exam. I said, well, I choose fellowship. So after fellowship, I had only 4 hours to do exam. But when I came to that exam, it was something else. Because I could remember that one thing about this art is God that gives it to us. Because if you study nature, you will appreciate God. Look at you're a product of beauty. Imagine God making your head as big as your shoulder. You will look amazing. So God looked at your shoulder and now made your head twice of your shoulder. You know, if you divide your chest into two, you get one part is your head. That's human anatomy.
I mean,
and you know what the length,
and that is also involved in art.
Yes, if you spread your hand like this and measure from the tip of this hand across the other, it's the same length with
your height.
That was why when you look at them creating the cross, you will not see now Jesus Christ and so it was there. God has had that in mind. And one thing about God is he's deeper than we think. And I discovered that I can express myself with art. I can teach with art. I can instruct with art. I can preach with art. If you watch most of my works, when I talk about politics, it's something deeper. When I was talking about a revolution will come because of this obedient thing, it was what I did in 2002. So if as far back as 2000, I've started seeing there will be a revolution. I molded a man that was playing drum without head. That was when I knew that the problem of Nigeria is not Nigerian, it's the leadership, it's the head, because the 5 senses are in the head. The mouth, the eyes, the nose, the ear, the tongue. And if a leader that's supposed to have all these senses and no more, the body is useless. And I've discovered that if you cut somebody's hand, it can survive. Cut somebody's leg, and cut somebody's head, is gone. So leadership is so important. So that was what led us to this movement, Transformational Leaders Movement, where we can now get the youths, teach them some of the principles that made us what we are. That life is more than like, I keep giving thanks to Chief Peter Doche. I met him when I was in the movie industry. He helped reshape my life because I love what he was doing, and I was opportune to be with him. So he guided me through that process, and today is part of the patron of the TLM movement. And for over 4 years, we are doing our best without any government support, anybody's financial support. Sometimes we'll meet some people, they'll give you story. So with little resources we have, we keep pushing. And some of the times, like last year, this year, Signature TV partnered with us, and they gave us a very wide coverage. So when the chairman came, he was amazed with the number of youths we could touch and see. And I have seen like some of these youth that are under drug influence. I work with the NDLA. Sometimes when you introduce them to art, you see them stop drug. Because sometimes
it's like a substitution reaction.
Yes, if you engage your mind in doing something, you will remember that loneliness that makes you want to try other substance. Because art is so engulfing that if you enter ceramics, it keeps your mind and your brain engaged. That was why sometimes I tell parents, introduce your children to art early. It helps their dressing. You see what women are dressing today. Some wear swimming dress to church. They will now wear church dress to swimming. It's misplaced priority because they don't know the purpose of dressing. They don't know what it means to dress for a night party, dress for a dinner party, dress for a wedding, dress for... And these are some of the things you can do by introducing art to them early. Art is not artisans. You only draw and paint. No. Art is beyond that. That's art of eating. They call it understand your table manner. These things are art. But if you don't understand it and you don't introduce children to those things, they'll always be buried with their phone. And sometimes, you know, social media now, the menace they can come to cause the family.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But if they have anything, like today, some of my friends, I was in Abuja the other day, they do paint and sip. They now come and sip. You'll be drinking, but you'll be painting. And sometimes when people finish such sections, they come out better. Because you've engaged.
Therapeutic.
Yes. Because you know one thing about God, God created us in 3 forms: the spiritual aspect, the soul aspect, and the body aspect. The spiritual aspect is for God. But for you to survive on this earth, you must develop your soul. Because your soul comprises your intellect, what you think, your emotion, what you feel, and your will, what you want. And today we see a lot of people that have weak will, have and some of these things affect your
productivity
on earth. You see some people, how this word that is so sweet, somebody wants to commit suicide.
Say it again.
This word that is so sweet, somebody wants to commit suicide. Sometimes I've never had suicidal thoughts. Am I that rich as a child? No. I came from a very let me not call it poor background. You know, the poor people, poor people helps us. You know, come to a family. So imagine, but then I was aspiring to become great. I wasn't. Me now, if I share my dream with you, you will say I'm mad. I could remember there was a time I told some of my friends that my next level is to meet the local government chairman. They thought it was a play. In less than 6 months, I met him. I said my next target is to meet the governor. The governor of Chimarok, I met him. He said next target is to meet the president. And I met Obasanjo. So that is the power of dream and vision. And some of these things can be captured in painting. Like I've studied my life, I've painted it on painting. I painted in 3-fold: where I started, where I am, and where I'm going. So if you don't know who you are, it's always hard for you to survive on earth.
Wow. I feel like I've been schooled, like I'm in a master class already. So like I said earlier, I want to know about your work in TLM, that's Transformational Leaders. What informed that name? What's your mandate and what has been your impact so far?
Okay, I met my friend, Honorable Ikenna Onaga, who had the same vision. He was a politician. I am not a politician then because I hated politics. But when when I saw the guy is a Christian and he's into politics, and the day I engaged with him, I saw he was sound. He said, okay, let's come together and partner and run a vision of helping the youth to understand what politics is. Because politics is an aspect that church left. Because if you watch the leadership formation of God, he said we are the head and not the tail. But church left politics for the devil. And now devil has taken over and they're complaining. And
you will even recall, even in the Bible, there's a king. There's always a priest.
Yes. Like I tell them I am a Christian, not in pulpit. I'm a Christian on the streets.
Yes.
That's kingly assignment.
Yes.
And this guy saw that it's kingly assignment. So we partner. We will not say, which name are we going to give this? We said, we've heard about leadership movements. So let's talk about the one we will do is transformational. We will produce leaders that have been transformed. Because Bible says, be you transformed, but not be conformed. So when leaders are transformed, they won't end up like our predecessors, who the way they grew was, if you become somebody's stout, when you become your own tongue, they give you power, and you produce stoutry alongside with but when you transform a young man, he understands the value, the integrity, that leadership is service. That you, when you are saying you're a governor, doesn't mean you should carry 17 siren. A governor should be seen walk on the road, ask citizens, how do you feel I lead? And you see this Burkina Faso president, the guy is changing the narrative. So these are some of the leaders we should produce in Nigeria. Leaders are not afraid of the people that are leading, because it's not ruling. Why will you do you know what it means that you saw your governor, you were happy to talk to your governor without protocol or going through unnecessary? It makes you on your toe. But sometimes we discover that some of our governors don't know the pain of the citizen, because the people, the middlemen, are telling him, don't worry, everybody's happy, they know what you're doing, and the man is not in touch with him. So sometimes when they get out from power, they now saw the blunder they've made, and sometimes when you see them, they feel bad. Wow, so this is my 8 years in power, I didn't know, because of the people that surround them. So we now saw all these lapses in leadership. We now want to correct it with the youths now, but our biggest challenge is that most of the youths has been bought. What I mean by have been bought with the narrative that most of them don't want to be mentored. They want quick money. That's why some of them has entered this thing they call Yahoo and not the rest of them. And you see the way they're dying in their thousands. They don't believe that life is a process. Life is a stage. They don't want to go through the process. They don't believe that if God can allow a pregnant woman to carry a baby for 9 months, God is not making a mistake. Yes. So sometimes understand your season. You must go through that process, or else when imagine giving a 5-year-old boy a pistol, he will kill everybody because they don't know the power of the authority. So, but when you allow him to mature, that's why sometimes you watch some countries that some things you can't do until you get to 18. You can't even have phone, you can't even do. So why do they put such restrictions? So that the child brain can form properly for him to know how to take a decision for himself. But check in Nigeria, a child of 2 years have access to Android phone, smartphone. So there's nothing that checkmates some of those things. And you see the way they're going, they call themselves Gen Z and all the rest of them. And sometimes when you meet them, you see they're empty inside. Shallow. Very, very empty. And sometimes when you want to show them the process of leadership, they say, what are you saying? Make it quick, share money, give us something, let's just... And you see the rate they're getting into drugs.
So what's the way out?
The way out is government need to...
I want us to take government out of this equation.
No, you can't take government out, because government doesn't mean you're a governor. There's government in everywhere. In your house, there's government. Okay. There's a leader, there's a follower. In your house, there's politics. Some children are trying to know who they will favor. Okay, if I tell mommy, mommy will tell daddy, daddy will do it. So they look for some of those. It's politics. Politics is everywhere. Politics is part of life.
It's dynamic, yeah.
If you watch even in Jesus Christ, 12 disciples, the mother of James and John came to bribe. So politics is everywhere. So when I talk about government, I'm not talking about Enugu State government or government house. I'm talking about government of the family, because the decay of every society starts from family. Sure. So if a child sees that the father is not authority in the house and she grew with that, When she marries, she will feel that authority is in the women's hand. And sometimes they now marry a man who had a very good family background. It become a problem. So, but if we can get it down, even churches, even society, even schools, if we can get it down to family level, to show a child how to become a because sometimes you see they get child. Nobody talks about the boy child. There should be a balance. As they are teaching the girl how to sit, teach the boy how to sit.
Exactly.
They are teaching the girl how to behave well. Teach the boy how to treat the girls very well. If not, the balance is not there. You may end up producing good girls and bad boys. So the bad boys will end up corrupting the good girls, and the society is in a mess. So sometimes those things lies in the parenting. And sometimes most of our parents don't know what parenting is all about.
I agree.
Sometimes you see what mothers wear to school run.
I agree.
You be one the mothers. If you one day a woman came down from a car taking her child to school, I was shocked what she was wearing. So if a mother can wear that, so how will she not tell the child that this is indecent dressing?
I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. It's a lot, but God will help us. Now, but there are some wins. These are the challenges, right? But there has to be some wins that you have recorded as an initiative.
Yeah.
Has there been a group, or even if it's a person, that TLM, through TLM's initiative, this person has moved from this level to that level? Yeah,
I may not call them because we're on air, but testimony will record it. There was one lady we met, she's so shy. She came from a well-to-do family, but she's this shy, unexpressive. She never understood what life is about to commit suicide. She said maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, she grew up believing that there's nothing good about her. But when she came for our training, and at the end of the day, she picked interest in me as a person because of the way I talked. So I took her through mentorship, gave her some books. Before you know it, one of the first places she got to work was a hotel as a receptionist. So from there, she became a high flyer, and she's doing well today. Sometimes when she called me, say thank you because I met you the time I met you. So many of them boys, there was some group of boys now, I call them the G12. We meet and talk, government of 12. One thing I discovered that is lacking is mentorship. And if you watch Bible calls it discipleship. Jesus took them 12. And Igbo calls it Igbo Odibo, one boy. So when all these things are in society, the children is gone. Check Igbo Odibo boy, a businessman is doing well. Empire Friend and the Gideon is doing well. He now hands over the boy to the man and say, let this boy be under you for 7 years, study your business. Now check, when that boy turns out, it turns out like the man that he served.
Exactly, because that's what he sings.
And when the man is doing well, the boy is doing well, after 7 years, the man will give the boy a particular amount of money and watch him grow his own business.
And give him networks.
Yes, the same boy will pick 7 again and grow. Before you know, the Igbos, it was done with Zeke's father and Ojuku's father. That's how the business hub in Igbo land expanded. But check what is happening today. Somebody will pick a boy after 2 years, Obo the boy Yori, Choya, the boy in another village, Zuezuri, and it was when they started mingling with some western part of Nigeria who doesn't understand the integrity of one boy. And today we're on the verge of bringing down one boy system back. Because we saw, even if they didn't go to school, we've discovered that even the ones that went to school and the one didn't go to school, the one didn't go to school performed better than the one that went to university.
Yes.
What is the process? They went through tutelage, they went through mentorship. How about a boy? If you see a graduate of Nigerian today and you give him 5 million, a boy 6 months, near 5 million. 2 of them won't produce the same result.
I agree.
Only also the link under 2 months. The boy and will produce. What's the process? Somebody taught him how to understand language of money, how to grow money, how to. So that is a line of business. And today we don't do that. I
actually want to digress a little bit.
Okay.
Because what I'm about to say, what you just said just called for it.
Okay.
Why are the Igbos, we're no longer what we used to be? Even those who have crossed a certain level or seen a certain level of success, they are suddenly not approachable. They don't want anyone close to them. They suddenly don't have time to mentor. If you are reaching out, it's as though you're disturbing them. I do understand that the younger ones don't want to be mentored, but there are still those the Bible calls them remnants. There are still those who want to be mentored, but they can't find mentors. Why are we like that? Okay. It's as though if we get this level of success, it's just us. Some Gabwers are like, don't come near. Why are we like that? Okay,
I will tell you, because there's challenges that brought that result. I have been opportuned to meet some of these great men in Igbo land. Sometimes some of them cries. There's one man I met, he's in Port Harcourt, he's an oil company. He picked a boy from his village, groomed the boy. The boy set him up with EFCC. And I met the man was crying bitterly. I said, I am not going to train anybody. Because the man, every year, he takes 10 children from his village, train them to university level, and come back again to take 10. None of them didn't make that money for him. I know this menace of money rich. That's not like money ritual. Let me see. The DPNM should have built mansions in his house. This is just repeating ritualism, killing innocent people in the name of making money. There's no way you can make money. Money will disappear from CBN Bank and enter your house. Check it now. It's common knowledge. All you need is networking. So some of these big men now are afraid of these younger ones. You see things happening, you pick a boy, the next thing he has collide with your enemy to poison you. So the society is no more safe, because even the youths want it faster. Someone will come to you and say, I want to learn. I have been opportune to almost fall victim. Somebody will come and say, I want to learn art. You say, how long? You say 2 weeks. And he say, I want to blow. I say, how will you blow? Are you a balloon? And some of this, sometimes I won't blame church, because this is like breakthrough. Breakthrough is not biblical word. Oh. How can you break through? You're a thief.
There's a process to everything.
Breakthrough for window. It's only a thief that breaks through. So all this breakthrough is affecting. And you know, most of our people are two religions.
Yes.
We like praying more than working. You can see a healthy young man ask, what are you doing? He said, fasting. I'm praying, I'm waiting on God. No. God is waiting on you to do something. He gives you brain so they can give him rest. God gave you brain. God did not produce car. He produced car inside tree and iron core. It was men that had brain that discovered, if I produce iron from ground and a couple car. God didn't give us book. He gave us tree. And from trees we were able to produce books. So he gave men power to create. I told them, Satan cannot create. That's why Satan looks for who he will possess, human beings. If Satan can create, he will take one planet and go and create his own children. The only difference between us and angels is that we can create. We can reproduce our kind. That's what nature God gave us. But nobody teaches the youth that you can create something. There's something in you that is called God. God say, I created you in my own image.
The kingdom of God is in you.
Yes. After my likeness.
So start we're not looking to something ahead. It is something that we should develop and produce and birth.
So religion has swapped the thing. God is looking up to us. And we are not looking up to God. It's confusion.
Thank you so much, Agonsi Uche. I just wish you had more time, but my producer is already telling me that we are out of time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you listening, you're a Gen Z, whatever age you are, I'm sure you must have picked something interesting from all Uche has just said. Listen, what you're looking for is right inside of you. All you need to do is to be humble, develop yourself, put yourself through the process, and before you know it, the world will be calling out your name. All right, thank you so much, Uche, for your time. Don't go anywhere. New day. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV.